a platform to sharing your thoughts.
That point of time, even though all our contracts are actually INR bound, because all our tariff and be it all the local contracts are all INR related. But hence, it's more of timing impact. But yes, currency hedge, for example, in the current scenario, if you look at the volatility in the dollar versus INR market, the hedge is extremely expensive. But being INR at a lowest interest rate cycle, hence people are actually refinancing their green bonds or ECB loans through INR loans. And having said that, these are all cyclical in nature. So in a lifespan of 20 years, such 3 to 4 times of interest rate cycles are bound to happen.
Just cutting a bit short on your last question is, how can blended finance instruments be designed to materially improve the project bankability by addressing the risk which we have talked about? Subhash, and just do we have time for taking audience questions now? So what I request the audience members to, whatever the thoughts or questions you have, you can give it to organizers and maybe we can circulate it amongst the panel later and get back to you on their specific queries. I am very thankful to all the panelists and especially audience who have just been present here and listened to this emerging themes around the global capital mobilization of RE, and very engaging discussion and some very relevant points covered with respect to project financing which are across the supply chain partners for the solar, wind as well as the emerging technologies. I am very thankful to the panelists for giving us time and the organizers for giving opportunity to moderate this panel as well as inviting us. I would now hand over to the organizer.
Hello, Tipor. Thank you so much, sir. And आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद क्योंकि बहुत ही वैल्यूबल और बहुत ही थॉटफुल आपने यहाँ भी सेशन किया है। इसके लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार। और मैं अब यहाँ पुनीत सर से रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूँगी कि वो हमारे सभी पैनलिस्ट का फैसिलिटेट करें। सभी पैनलिस्ट का यहाँ सम्मान करते हुए Please be here for group photo. थैंक यू सो मच। और मैं सभी पैनलिस्ट से भी रिक्वेस्ट करूँगी कि वो अगर आप लोगों को सेशन अच्छा लगा है तो मुझे लगता है सभी लोग के हाथों से तालियां बजनी चाहिए, सभी लोगों के हाथों से। थैंक यू सो मच।
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here at the Bharat Renewable Expo, India's flagship global green energy expo. And let me tell you that it is not just an opening ceremony of a 3-day exhibition, but it is rather a celebration as all of us have gathered here on such a huge level for one aim or for one motive which will benefit our country in so many ways. So once again, thank you so very much for each one of you taking your time out and being here with us. Your presence is indeed valuable to us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, it is time for a knowledgeable presentation. And for this presentation, it gives me immense pleasure to invite Mr. Anand Madhav Mishra, Project Manager, Renewable Energy, the Nature Conservancy India, to the stage. Can we all please make some noise and invite Mr. Anand Madhav Mishra on the stage? Come on guys, make some आवाज सुन पा रहे हैं तो आपकी भी आवाज यहाँ तक आनी चाहिए. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anand, and thanks to the introduction. And I'm going to talk about a challenge here right now. सुबह सुबह जब हम लोगों ने सेशन स्टार्ट किया था तो हम लोगों ने सुना कि जहाँ पे काम होगा वहाँ पे challenges होंगे. So if there is work happening, there can be some challenges. So a lot of work is happening in India, but today we are talking about challenges. So I'm going to walk you through what we are, what is TNC, what we are doing in India, what kind of areas we are focusing in, and going forward what we are doing specifically in the renewable energy domain, and how some of our solutions are actually going to go ahead and help everyone. So the TNC was established in 1951, about 75 years old, working in more than 80 countries, and has a team of about 4,000 scientists and experts all across the globe working on different challenges, different topics. And as you can see, the objective is to conserve the land and water on which all lives thrive. So that is the key focus of TNC that has been for 75 years, and we have been working in this domain. India comparatively is a newer chapter. It's about 7 or 8 years old, working in different areas, agriculture, and also the nature climate solutions. And when I say nature climate solutions, is basically mangrove restorations, coastal ecosystem development. In renewable energy, we are working towards responsible renewable energy in India, and how we can keep growing and keep adding value to the renewable energy infrastructure, but making sure that there is development without destruction. So this is the India RE scenario right now. All of you are from renewable energy background, you know everything. In the morning, Subramaniam Pulipaka added that Rajasthan is leading the renewable energy race right now, and 125 gigawatt target is huge. But again, out of this 500 gigawatt right now, this is where India stands. The numbers are updated since November, but it keeps on updating and keeps on changing. Right now, there is a very, very strong race between Gujarat and Rajasthan, and right now, as Pulipaka mentioned in the morning, that Rajasthan is leading in, at least in the solar right. Now, what's the challenge? 500 gigawatt to achieve where we are right now.
City Live, a platform to sharing your thoughts.
Curated by IESA. And for this, I would like to call upon our esteemed panelists on the stage. Starting off with Shri Naveen Khandelwal, CEO, India Yanara, Shri Sandeep Kashyap, CEO, Purva Green Power RPSG Group. I request you all to kindly step forward on the stage. Shri Alok Nigam, CEO, UPC Renewables. Shri Manoj Kumar Gupta, Senior Vice President, Renew Power. Dr. Bula Chaudhary, Professor, Vivekanand Global University, VGU. And our moderator for this session is Shri Ravi Verma, Member, Governing Council, SPDA. And we would also like to have Mr. Kushal Likhi, Co-Founder, Volt Proof. Mr. Ayush Mishra, Co-Founder and CEO. Mr. Ayush Mishra, Dr. Devendra Kumar Doda, Associate Professor, VGU, Vivekanand Global University, and Mr. Devendra Upadhyay, Project Manager, SEMCO, India. And our moderator for this session Mr. Devmalya Sen, President, India Energy Storage Alliance, IESA. I request you all to kindly step forward on the stage for our next panel session. Mr. Karan Kothadia, Program Lead Industrial Sustainability, CEEW. Mr. Karan Kothadia, Program Lead Industrial Sustainability, CEEW. Thank you so much.
Hello, hello. Yeah, great. It's a long panel, but we will keep the question short. Starting off with energy storage, and thank you for the first view and of course RSA for inviting us. So I would like to know from you, I will start with you, how has been how was the technologies, like we are talking today about lithium ion and sodium ion. Going forward, maybe 5 years from now, what is the advancements that you see in this area?
So basically, we are working last 12 years for lithium industry, and we have some facing challenge because we don't have command any raw material part. If you're talking about the some cell level part and about the equipment also. So we are dealing right now equipment. So we all the technology get from China. Everything we are procurement for the equipment and PLC programming. Everything we are procured from China. So if you talk about the 5 year and 10 year for sustainability for the BSS grid system and the lithium ion future. So firstly, we need to develop the R&D center in India. We know the sodium ion also. We have some. I think some companies are doing some R&D for the sodium ion, like NAS Energy are I think doing some for sodium ion battery also. But lithium, only 2 and 3 players are doing some R&D for the, they are planning to manufacturing in Indian for cell level. Because we expert for the equipment also, raw material part, but the main purpose, the main part is cell, lithium ion cells. So these are the major issues right now, and I'm just looking for this, my opinion. So, maybe I'm talking about the last 2 years, we have already commanding everything about the raw material part also and technology part. But day by day, we are improving on the sustainability according to also right now BSS to consideration with the panel, solar panel with the grid system with the PSS energy storage system. And C&I is the most major segment for the energy storage part. So mostly, firstly, everyone to try to R&D for the completely for the lithium testing equipment. So also we are try to develop some technology we can supply the made in India completely. So if you talk about the future for lithium, definitely the right now the mostly sustainability we are looking for the last 10 to 15 years. Energy storage is one of the economically and everyone can use for lithium.
Thank you. You touched upon CNI. I will come to Ayush now. Ayush, looking into the CNI segment, and we have been telling this for a long time that CNI will decide the next stage of growth for batteries worldwide. Not only in India, but how do you see from queries coming to you to then being converted to projects? What do you see batteries' role in CNI in coming days?
Hello. So on the CNI side, I see applications of batteries on 2 fronts. So there's one which is behind the meter, and then there's one which is more open access related, right? So I'll first begin with behind the meter. Now, on the behind the meter side, we've done a few pilots for clients like Coca-Cola and Sula Vines, which were early adopters of BESS technology. The applications that we've seen is that they want to have a solar plant, use BESS to store excess energy and then utilize it. Happening for CNI. On the open access side, and to me, like, I think this is where the real big breakthrough needs to come in, wherein large consumers of power, be it data centers, heavy industries and so on, are going to require decarbonization solutions. Pure solar or solar plus wind will be able to cater to maybe 60-70% of the overall demand. This is assuming current regulations. But to get beyond that entire number, they have to now move to storage as a package. So solar, wind plus storage or solar plus storage. We've started now seeing pilots of that now start to come in. I think regulations can help speeden up and accelerate that process. To me, that is going to be the next driver for BESS. Not beyond, over and beyond, like, you know, all the madness around reverse auctions. That to me is a segment that seems to have the most potential. And good regulatory frameworks incentivizing storage for CNI is going to be a big unlock.
Okay, my next question, coming from the madness of reverse auctions, to you, Kushal, what do you get out of this? So the madness, the price drop. We saw the VGF drop down, and we all expected that the price will rise up finally, and we saw the price further drop, right? So in this environment, how do you see the cost structure of batteries, or maybe solar plus batteries for that sake? 3.12. So yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So from my experience, we come from a experience where we help, people understand where to put the batteries and where they are financially viable, right? So earlier, the real problem was, we all knew battery is a solution, but it never had a ROI or a cost viability, right? With this power, this price drops happening, right? It's happening year by year, is happening, right? And you must have seen this year, there are a lot of tenders for best packs came in. Because now finally, the cost viability is coming into the picture, right? So the biggest impact of these, prices being falling down is on their usage. I think that's the only factor which is now allowing us to put that into a grid scale level, actually, right? Otherwise, earlier that, would have added more cost. It would be, cheaper to do some other things, right, than having BESS. But now BESS can solve our problems as well as be a very cost-effective, option also to it. So I think that's something that's changed, and with the tenders and all we see in coming years, this is going to be a very integral part of the network. Like you see in Delhi will very best, yeah, and that's one of a kind. Yeah. So we see that.
Thank you, Devendra ji. I will come to you, Karan, first, because you have a flight to catch, I know. Coming from this innovation journey, which you lead at CEW, how do you see technologies, how do you see this technological innovation coming through?
Hi, thank you for the question. I'll share some experience around the green hydrogen related work we do, and lessons from a conference that we helped MNRE with very recently. What we learned was that buyers determine innovation targets. specifically for technologies that are hardware based and deployable today, right? So unless the communication is there between buyers, which are developers, large scale developers or manufacturers, component developers as well as academia, that communication establishment link is a missing piece in the puzzle, right? And for us as a ecosystem and as a country to solve for innovation, I think we need to improve that a lot. We did a survey of the participants and we got about 120 responses in it, encompassing all different kind of stakeholders. Industry folks, when asked to pick top 3 challenges that they faced in advancing their R&D, mentioned that we don't know what the R&D is happening in Indian academic labs and what the infrastructure exists in Indian academic labs for us to collaborate with, right? That's a very easy problem to solve if you come to think of it. Just information enabling and getting that bridge across is a very easy problem to solve. The second challenge that industry and startups reported was they did not have shared infrastructure to develop pilots or develop tooling, components and the necessary funding associated with it as well, right? But if you had to put up a specialized tool just for your company's technology development versus having a shared facility that is accessible to everyone, that just speeds up the prototyping and the error modification cycle quite a lot. So these two, I'll keep it short and share these two learnings as things that we all collectively need to solve for us to advance on innovation, be it on batteries, energy storage solutions, solar or green hydrogen per se. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you, Karan. I know you have to leave because you have a flight to catch. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. Over to you.
Hello. Thank you. First, thank you RSA for organizing such a wonderful exhibition and this curating this session, helping SPDA. So I'll just take 2 minutes to explain what is SPDA. It's Sustainable Projects Developer Association. It is one of the oldest association working for last 12-13 years, since after the inception of Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission. And we have done a long journey ahead. And we have been taking care of the interest of all the developers and making their cases with the various agencies of the central government as well as state government. So next is we have a very eminent panel to discuss about the policy landscape, how this policy has helped the developers to change and what are the challenges. So initial remarks, first I will invite Mr. Sandeep Kashyap. He is a CEO. His initial remarks, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Ravi, for inviting me for this session. We at Purva are currently doing almost 600 megawatt of projects in Rajasthan and a pipeline of around 4.2 gigawatt. On the policy side, I would say policy framework is something which enables the business to be taken up by the developers. If the policies are firm, if the policies are encouraging, if the policies are business friendly, then obviously you see scale in the business, which is currently we are able to see in Rajasthan for the last over a decade. Although wherever we have seen gaps, as an association, as an industry body, as industry captains, we have been going to the government, explaining to them
If you can highlight 2 major bottlenecks or major challenges faced by the new development.
So, historically, renewable industry, one of the biggest challenges what generally we face is, for example, for solar, we need contiguous 1,000 to 1,500 acres of land, which sometimes becomes very difficult because there are various categories of land when we start approaching land, which includes the government land, reserve category land, private land, and then some special category land. So, from the point of view of policy framework, if you see, allotment of government land can be a good enabler for the solar power developers wherever it's possible, although it is out of the policy today. Second biggest challenge is while we are getting into newer areas, we see there are encumbrances on the land parcels, and we would need fairly clean land parcels in terms of setting up the plants. So those are some of the issues which most of the developers are facing, and we are looking at some positive policy framework to come into play to remove those encumbrances flawlessly to make the projects coming up in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Naveen, I think your company is also new entry into the Indian space. So I would like to see how you find this policy environment with respect to whatever government is going to decarbonize or the energy transition happening in the country. And as Rajasthan being the leading state, it has the maximum RE capacity installed till date. And what I am hearing since morning that many developers are very, very happy with the way the bureaucracy and the political leadership is leading and making the things simple for the developers. So what is your experience on that?
Sure, thanks Mr. Ravi. So yes, as you rightly said, Yanara is a very young company, relatively speaking, and we are focusing on deeper and faster decarbonization, by which we mean we prioritize multi-technology hybrid projects development, not just single technology. And yes, Rajasthan is leading from the front with around 35-37 gigawatts of installed solar, around 5.2 to 5.3 gigawatts of installed wind. I think we are very close to 42-43 gigawatts, if I'm not wrong, installed capacity, right? The beauty which Rajasthan offers, if we were to talk about top 3 points, this is one of those 5-6 states which have both the resources in abundance, right? Coupled with availability of reasonably large tracts of land, right? So these two things have enabled significant capacity addition in the state. And as you also highlighted, evolution of policy framework, making business a little bit easier every year, year after year, and access to policy makers has been, have been rather top 3-4 factors for the growth of the business in the state, growth of the sector. Now talking about what more can be done in the state, I think if we look at last 6 to 7 years, I think solar was the technology which got significant focus in the state, but I think Rajasthan, the state, can do much more to promote wind, because if you look at the potential versus exploited potential or exploited capacity, I think ratio is very skewed. Wind as such kind of underwent low capacity addition cycle in last 3, 4, 5 years, barring this year, where our installed capacity has gone up more than 5.5 gigawatts already in this year. So wind is witnessing a comeback, and Rajasthan being endowed with both the resources, I think we should do that, because solar we all we all appreciate its lowest cost of energy, but we also need to see the grid balancing and how to get renewable power or green power in non-solar hours. So I think that's one, promotion of other technologies. Second is, as we discussed in the forum, that we focus on FDRE, but I think now time has come where even FDRE is made further customized depending on the load of the state, right? Generic FDRE, demand curve or load curve. So generic FDRE will not work, and I think policy makers are very clear on that, and we are aligned with them. That will not do just co-located capacity addition, but the sizing or the configuration should be done in such a fashion that wind plus solar plus bed actually gives high PLF solution, which actually can take out the base load out. Base load coming from base load generation from fossil based capacity. So can renewables replace capacity instead of just cheap energy or low cost energy? I think that's the focus. And last point from my side is, can the state look at combining industrial policy with energy policy? Because since we have significant generation zones in Rajasthan, but load is not that much there, that's why we need to evacuate power, which is where the biggest problem is being witnessed today. So of course CTU and CA and all other central bodies are doing the needful to take power out of the state, but I think what can also be done if we can generate demand in the state by encouraging industrial setup and having industrial policy aligned with energy policy, so that generation can be consumed in the state to the extent possible, I think that will be very good, and we can further add to it later. Thank you.
Yeah, so we have one academician and one woman power on the panel. So I will invite Dr. Abdullah Chaudhary, and I would like to have his views on respect to how the financing sector, the banking sector, looking at this renewable space at this point of time, when lot of some question marks are there as to how the power will be sold. There is some pending PPAs. States are not very willing to buy this solar power during day, as there is a very low price at the exchange as well. So how the financing and the investors are looking at it, if you can share that view, please.
Yeah, so I think from the point of view of investors, it is quite evident that our domestic investors are also doing quite well now, and the international investors are also showing interest in investing in renewable energy in India, specifically in Rajasthan being the hotspot for solar energy. The investments have increased. And I feel that investors, what basically they are looking for is certainty. The problem arises when there is a lot of uncertainty in the infrastructure planning. Like one of the panelists just said, that grid evacuation plans are not proper because of a lot of transmission losses and distribution losses are there, and we do not have the capacity to store the energy which is being generated. So we really need to work upon that part, because investors, when they are they are investing their money, they are looking into the returns as well, what they are getting out from it. So from the policy point of view, what is important is that they want very strong power purchasing agreements, and they also look forward for proper infrastructure planning, specifically for grid evacuation plans. They are also looking for stable tariffs, which is one of the very important points. When there are instability in the tariffs, the chaos is even rising, and because of this, the risk increases a lot. And when the risk is increasing, the investors are not willing to invest and lend their money into renewable energies. So I think the policy priority is quite simple, that we really need to work on the stable tariffs and the infrastructural planning, and then that can work out.
Yeah, very true. The investor look for policy certainty and the sanctity of contracts. So whatever contracts have been signed by the sovereign, so they should not be questioned, they should not be cancelled. If there is a bid have happened, the bid should not be cancelled. So that makes the investors' confidence high. So now I would like to turn to Mr. Alok. So as now just talked about the tariffs. So we would like to have your views on the tariffs, because the discoms, they are choosy about the tariffs. So once the one bids come up with some tariffs, the next bid comes with the lower tariffs. So now they want to pick and choose. So how this is impacting the sector, and you can also touch upon how these business parks, these solar parks, which were earlier quite attractive, but there is a dull in that. Now again, Rajasthan government has come up with the parks, this plug and play model. So your views on this, how do you find it attractive for the investors like your investors, who I think would not like to take the risk of land and other infra challenges like ROW and other issues. If you get land in place, transmission system in place, so how do you see that? Your views on that?
Thanks, Ravi. Very interesting questions, and particularly because we are a part of basically investors who are one of the largest Asia Pacific investors, and I have to actively compete for capital to invest in India. And and my board very frequently says that India is not for the faint-hearted.
And rightly so, because the kind of policy uncertainty that we spoke about, I mean, that's very high. Even while you are bidding, I mean, most of the developers that you are competing with, there is a lot of exuberance both in terms of costing assumptions and the resource assumptions, which eventually, I mean, at the end of a reverse auction, you keep scratching your head as to how this has actually gone in a manner where even after 20 years of experience, it's completely unfathomable. So that was, I mean, and I think the biggest dent of confidence that has happened in this sector is this lack of PPA signing. Because in the last 2 years, we saw a tariff cycle which was actually turning favorable to serious developers. And during that time, we saw 2 events. One, basically, the PPAs were not getting signed, and it's not just that a particular type of PPAs were not getting signed. Whether be it solar or it's solar plus hybrid or FDRE, I mean, there is a general lull in the market. One of that is because of the discoms basically starting to shop, because every reverse auction basically goes into a different direction in terms of tariff discovery, and there is always basically a dil mange more wala attitude for the discoms. And that is one problem that we continue to see. And with that, I start wondering, I mean, do we really need to go through this mechanism of reverse auction at all for each bid? I mean, typically the way it happens in the countries is that, I mean, once a competitive price is discovered, at least let us keep it sacrosanct for at least 2 years, so that whatever projects that can be bid within that framework of 3 years, I mean, they would at least be able to recover a decent basically return on their capital. And from that perspective, I mean, the other competition that you need to get into is for the resources itself, be it connectivity or the land. And there, basically these parks that the Rajasthan government is proposing, that helps a lot, because you find a ready customer for the power that the park is going to produce. You are bringing in the connectivity and the land, and that really helps in solving out the challenges, provided again we can still control the exuberance for our own developer community, that basically we drive the prices so low that eventually it again becomes uninvestable. So that is something that we definitely need to sort out, even in terms of basically the charges that the government is going to ask for these developments of RE parks, be in terms of O&M costs and all. I think that needs to be rationalized, so that later on, just like the discoms are doing the shopping, I mean, it should not happen in a manner that 5 years down the line, even these charges that the parks itself are imposing on the developers become a burden on us. And they basically 5 years down the line, the discom says, no, this power is too expensive, all this 50% of that tariff is the charges that I am taking, but even that. So I think we need to sort that out.
Any thoughts with respect to the two-part tariff in RE sector? There is some thoughts going on, like for this, as the new thermal projects, where they are uploading lot of tariff in the fixed cost, so that initially they can cover their some fuel cost as well. Then there is a solution there. So if like we can have some lower tariff in the initial, like earlier also some bits have happened.
Yeah.
So any thoughts? If you can answer it later also, but will it help to sell our PPS if we can have two-part tariff, or tariff for first 5 years or first 10 years, different tariff for next other, when there is a low burden on the debt servicing, then we can have a little other tariff. Can industry think on those lines?
I mean, I'll just need to take one more minute on this before we deep dive into other aspects, is that, for thermal, I mean, the logical way of segregating the fixed charges and the energy charges is that there is an energy variable, which is the cost of coal, for which you cannot predict. And there is a fixed cost of putting the capital, for which you need to get a certain amount of return, which then helps you recover that cost. If we look at RE, I mean, the best beauty about RE is that all of it is committed upfront, and then it becomes an inflation-free power for the next 25 to 30 years. And therefore, any segregation that we do would largely be the operating costs for these RE projects, which are a very small component. So if we split it logically, most of it, in fact 90% of it would still become a fixed cost. So I don't know, unless we do an artificial segregation and then the second half we then put it as an inflation-based increment, that would help. But how would we agree, I mean, with the government that this would be the right formula?
There can be some LCOE formula which regulators can decide. It was just a food for thought. Because the normal course of action, things are not happening. Can we just think out of the box?
No, very true.
Thank you, Alokji. Now I'll come to the most important part, the manufacturing. We have discussed a lot about the generation part. So now Renew has entered into the manufacturing sector as well. They are putting up one of the largest manufacturing base in Rajasthan. So I would like to have your experience in the manufacturing sector and how you find the policy framework and the government support in Rajasthan. You can have a few words on it.
Thank you, Ravi. So, manufacturing, there are 2-3 components. One, module manufacturing. Second, cell manufacturing. And third is the further wafer and ingot manufacturing. So, in Rajasthan, after the new industrial policy of 2024, module is not an industry. So, if you talk about the government support, so they are not considering module manufacturing as an industry. So there is no incentive at all.
No incentive?
No, zero incentive. After this 24 policy.
Okay. And so, are you entering into the cell manufacturing as well?
So, cell manufacturing, actually there is a possibility in Rajasthan only in southern region of Rajasthan, where this water is available. Because cell is require intensive power as well as the water. So, taking the southern portion of the Rajasthan is not a convenient location for port as well as to supply to the customers in all Rajasthan as well as in the MP side. So, nobody has come up as of now cell, and the major issue, the power cost of Rajasthan is too high. I think it's too high, so it's a costly affair.
So, just a follow-up question. Like you have a manufacturing base in both the places, Gujarat and Rajasthan.
Yeah.
So, can you just give some insights? How was your experience? Because now you're wearing both the hats, as a developer as well as a manufacturer. So, what is more conducive or more comfortable?
See, Rajasthan government is very supportive.
Yeah.
Apart from this the new policy or new decision making, otherwise it went very well, very smooth. Whatever approvals we are supposed to seek, it will get in time. So I didn't find any challenge in Rajasthan government, working with the Rajasthan government, and we did all the commissioning, all plant laying in time, before time even, and we are supplying to the all module to maximum to our own projects.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to take? So I think with that we conclude our session.
Thank you so much once again. Thanks a lot to each one of you. And now I request all of you to kindly stand rise for the felicitation ceremony. And I request both our moderators, Shri Devmalya Sen, President, India Energy Storage Alliance, and Shri Ravi Verma, Member, Governing Council, SPDA, to kindly felicitate all of our panelists. Now I request Shri Dev Malik.
You are watching City Live.
City Live, a platform to sharing your thoughts.
Can we all make some noise a little bit louder, ladies and gentlemen? Come on. अब मैं गुजारिश करती हूँ सर से कि वो प्लीज
क्योंकि समय के साथ ऊर्जा के स्रोतों में बदलाव होता रहा है। एक समय था जब ऊर्जा के स्रोत के रूप में सामान्यतः लकड़ी या लकड़ी के कोयले और उसके बाद कृषि आधारित उत्पादनों में रोशनी के लिए सरसों या तिल का तेल काम आता था। धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे मानव सभ्यता विकसित होती गई और खोज के रूप में जमीन के अंदर दबे हुए क्रूड ऑयल और कोयले की खदानों की जानकारी हुई और उसके बाद कोयला और क्रूड ऑयल के माध्यम से बनने वाले उत्पादन, चाहे वो केरोसिन हो, क्रूड ऑयल हो, डीजल हो, चाहे पेट्रोल हो, वो ऊर्जा के स्रोत बनते चले गए। और उसके बाद समय ने करवट बदली और पन बिजली घर के रूप में एक नया ऊर्जा का स्रोत का प्रादुर्भाव हुआ और धीरे धीरे फिर ताप बिजली घरों का प्रादुर्भाव हुआ। शुरू में रेलवे और यातायात के साधनों में बसें, जो पुराने लोग हैं उन्हें पता है कि भाप के इंजन थे जिनमें कोयला या लकड़ी के माध्यम से पानी को गर्म करके भाप के माध्यम से बसें और ट्रेनें चला करती थी। उसके बाद पेट्रोलियम पदार्थों से चलना शुरू हुआ, उसके बाद इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन होकर रेलगाड़ियाँ, और अब तो बैटरी के माध्यम से चलने वाली ईवी मोटरसाइकिलें और कारें भी आ गई, बसें भी आ गई, ट्रक भी आ गए। रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पर आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का सबसे ज़्यादा फोकस इसलिए है कि दुनिया में जितने भी ऊर्जा के साधन हैं उनमें केवल मात्र 2 स्रोत ऐसे हैं जो किसी प्रकार के पर्यावरण को नुकसान नहीं करते। उसमें एक पनबिजली घर थे और दूसरा आपका सौर ऊर्जा रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के माध्यम से। बाकी चाहे पेट्रोलियम पदार्थों का मामला हो, चाहे जमीन के अंदर दबे हुए कोयले के माध्यम से ताप बिजली घर और दूसरे स्रोत उत्पन्न हुए हों, और चाहे परमाणु बिजली घरों के माध्यम से ऊर्जा के स्रोत विकसित हुए होंगे, सब में किसी न किसी प्रकार का पर्यावरण पर निश्चित रूप से विपरीत प्रभाव पड़ता है। और उसके साथ साथ समय की मांग ये भी रही कि भूमि के गर्भ में जितने कोयले के भंडार और पेट्रोलियम पदार्थ के भंडार छुपे हुए हैं, क्रूड ऑयल के भंडार छुपे हुए हैं, वो एक समय के साथ खत्म भी होने वाले हैं, क्योंकि वहाँ नया उत्पादन नहीं हो रहा है, केवल मात्र दोहन ही दोहन हो रहा है। ऐसे में कई दिनों से पूरे विश्व में इस पर मंथन चल रहा था कि वैकल्पिक ऊर्जा के स्रोत तलाशे जाएं, और उस वैकल्पिक ऊर्जा के स्रोत तलाशने में ही रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के माध्यम से सौर ऊर्जा पर ध्यान दिया गया। और आज जिस तेजी के साथ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में सौर ऊर्जा के प्लांट कहें या इनके सौर पैनल घरों की आवश्यकता की पूर्ति के लिए और बड़े क्षेत्रों में अपने व्यावसायिक और औद्योगिक उत्पादन के लिए भी बहुत तेजी के साथ इसका विस्तार हो रहा है। और आने वाले समय में सौर ऊर्जा निश्चित रूप से पूरे विश्व में अपनी एक अलग पहचान बनाने में और एक अलग स्थान बनाने में कामयाबी हासिल करेगी। इस एक्सपो को देखकर हमारे जो भी होनहार युवा हैं, जो किसी न किसी उद्यम की तलाश में हैं, क्योंकि सौर ऊर्जा के बहुत से कंपोनेंट हैं, वो किसी न किसी कंपोनेंट को चुनकर उसके उत्पादन में अपने आप को संलग्न करके अपने रोजगार के अवसरों को सुदृढ़ कर सकते हैं। क्योंकि सौर ऊर्जा जब तक ये सृष्टि रहेगी, जब तक सूर्य रहेगा, और अब तो तेजी के साथ इस दिशा में भी काम चल रहा है कि चांद की रोशनी से भी सौर ऊर्जा के माध्यम से ऊर्जा उत्पन्न की जाए, इस दिशा में भी अनुसंधान चल रहा है। और आने वाले समय में शायद इस दिशा में भी शोधकर्ता कोई न कोई महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय के स्तर पर पहुंच पाने में सफल होंगे। इसलिए अब रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में सौर ऊर्जा का भविष्य बहुत लंबे समय तक
City Live, a platform to sharing your thoughts. City Live, a platform to sharing your thoughts.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another panel discussion, which is going to be on the theme of utility scale solar, wind and solar wind hybrid project strategies for development, execution and scaling. And I would love to invite our esteemed panelists on the stage, starting off with Shri Rajiv Singh, Project Manager, RRECL. मैं गुजारिश करती हूँ श्री राजीव सिंह जी से, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर RRECL, कृपया मंच पर आ जाइए। श्री विक्रम मलकोटिया, हेड सोलर प्रोजेक्ट डेवलपमेंट UPC Renewables India Private Limited. I request you, sir, to please kindly come forward on the stage. Mr. Veerpal Yadav, Chief Operating Officer, Sunkind Energy. Mr. Akshay Bhatt, Quality Head, Supply and Field, Blue Pine Energy Private Limited. Mr. Chandrasekhar Lakshmikantan, General Manager, Strategy and Business Development, Oriana. Thank you so very much to all the panelists for being on stage. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to invite our moderator for the session, Mr. Vinayak Pandey, Vice President, PDCOR Limited. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, organizers. So welcome all panelists. Five panelists we have, at the time given to us is 45 minutes. And so the way we have structured is each one of them will be given initially 5 minutes to make their own remarks, specifically highlighting the theme assigned to them. And there could be one or two questions, follow-up questions, which any one of us can ask to each other. And thereafter, if time permits, then audience can also be asking some questions. So I start with, I'll not take much time. As moderator, my job is basically to facilitate. So I come from a company, PDCOR, which stands for Project Development Corporation of Rajasthan. It is a joint venture company between Government of Rajasthan and Island FS. We have been there for almost 3 decades now, and for the last month, I have been in this field for almost 27 years on infrastructure, be it road and transmission and planning and water. other easing the business processes as well.
Thank you. First, I would like to congratulate the organizers and co-organizers for organizing such a wonderful event, and where all the stakeholders could come and share their ideas. And I would also like to thank my organization like Rajasthan Renewable Energy Corporation, who have given me the opportunity to share the views with you. So as I am working here since last 10-12 years, and I have started my journey in the off-grid projects where from 100 or 200 watt system. So from watt to kilowatt, then I built the rooftop solar on the households and institutions. In 2016, first the initial when this subsidy was started for rooftop, and it was started from the commercial and industrial buildings. At that time, the residentials were included later in 2017 or 18, somewhere around that. So from that watt to kilowatt, and then kilowatt to megawatt utility scale, and then we developed the solar parks, because Rajasthan Renewable Energy Development Corporation has a subsidiary company also, Rajasthan Solar Park Development Company Limited. We are developing the solar parks, utility scale solar parks. So we started the journey of solar park somewhere around 2011 or 12. From our first solar park was 65 megawatt capacity at Bhadla, and it was not funded by MNRE. Then later on, megawatt capacity. Then subsequent to that, we commissioned our Nok solar park, and unfortunately due to certain issues it prolonged, but last year its complete capacity has been commissioned. So those all solar parks were pure vanilla solar parks, but as more and more solar is introduced, it is a challenge also for the grid point of view, like transmission as well as distribution, because in daytime we have lot of energy, cheap solar power is available, but at the time of off solar hour, evening peaks, where there is no solar, so there is a challenge to grid also. So then we felt, and we were developing around 2450 megawatt capacity at Google solar park. So we have decided to introduce with the FDRE projects with 1600 megawatt and 6400 megawatt hour base introduced, and that we have last week we have issued the bid on TBCB, and which is expected to open in I think in next 1 or 2 months. The pre-bid meeting is also scheduled in I think this coming week. So it's a very prestigious project for Rajasthan as well as for private developers also, who has part around 20,000 crore investment would come in private. And from the ease of doing business, we have introduced certain features like initially we have, because we are the state nodal agency for MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and RRECL is also a state designated agencies for energy efficiency and energy conservation activities organized by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power. So to implement the MNRE schemes
and see, all the projects are registered, required to be registered with Rajasthan Renewable Energy Corporation. So for that, the registration process is online, and now we are introducing it's a single integrated portal where the connectivity will also mapped. So in the single integrated portal, the REBN network connectivity will also be facilitated. In addition to that, we are working also on the distributed RE portal, where all the distributed RE will be mapped on that portal. So this is all. Thank you.
Safety facilitation, which is equally important. Glad to know the new initiatives you have taken up. See, Rajasthan has been a leading state, and what's special about this, we all know that availability of land and sunshine both. Is that all Rajasthan offers vis-a-vis the rest of the states, or is there something else something more to this? How we compare it with when we talk about say creating infrastructure for plug and play kind of facilitation? I invite Shri Vikram Malkotia ji, Head Solar Project Development UPC Renewable India Private Limited, to share his views on this.
Thank you so much for inviting us in this forum. I am Vikram Malkotia. I am heading the Solar Project Development and CNI at UPC Renewables India Private Limited. We are a Gurgaon based company, and we energy space. Hello, sorry, batteries died there. Yeah, and now coming to the question here that why Rajasthan, or what is it that makes Rajasthan so attractive for IPPs or developers like us to come here and do development and set up our projects here. As our esteemed representative from REDCL has pointed out, from 65 megawatt solar park to now 2450 megawatt solar park, nearly 40 times increase. I think this is the beauty of Rajasthan. Obviously, it's a state which is endowed with endless possibilities in terms of developing renewable energy. Number one being land. Now, land here is abundant. Rajasthan is the largest state of India, and it holds about 10% of land area in terms of geographical landmass. And there is uncultivable barren land, both revenue as well as private, which definitely can be utilized for setting up solar and renewable projects. Number one is land. So land is easily available here. Second is your solar irradiation. That is amongst the very high solar irradiation in India. And also the number of clear sunny days, that is also very high. That's the second part for solar. Which is why if you see the solar potential of Rajasthan is nearly 142 gigawatts. Wind as well. Abundant wind here, nearly 280 gigawatts of wind potential here. The best part is in Rajasthan you can actually co-develop wind and solar, which is the optimal utilization of the grid, which is where the entire country is now headed towards. So all these things put together makes Rajasthan a highly endowed renewable energy state. Now okay, you've got endowment, that is fine. How do you develop it? I think over the years what the government has done and the nodal agencies like RRECL they have done is they have created paths so that developers can come here and they can develop with ease. Now, what is the benefit here? We've got last year 2024, we have got the RICEF policy, which has been, I think, a game changer. It's a super upgrade from the earlier policy, and it's an integrated policy, basically addressing a lot of solar and wind and hybrid BESS areas as well as hydrogen. So it's a policy which has been a game changer, and with that policy, by way of stamp duty reimbursements, possibilities and exemptions up to 100%, 25% and 100% depending upon how you apply. So that is one really great policy which basically makes land very attractive in terms of overall cost to hold. So that is very beneficial, and developers have actually benefited from the RIPS policy. In the RIPS policy itself, we've got other benefits, like waiver of the transmission and distribution charges, specifically for green and for green hydrogen and for BESS. BESS depending on whether it's a 5% BESS or a 100% BESS, we've got various gradings there. So these policies have been really game changers. What makes Rajasthan actually different and better is currently 42.5 gigawatt of installed capacity. The government plans to take it to 125 gigawatt. So I think the government has enabled the path. It is for us to take forward the development activity here. Development cost actually is nearly 1/4 of the development cost per megawatt as compared to other states like Karnataka, as compared to states like Andhra Pradesh. Gujarat is neck to neck definitely, and Gujarat is the only state which is at par with Rajasthan in terms of the installed capacity. So Gujarat and Rajasthan together, they make 33% of installed RE capacity in India. I feel Rajasthan is much better because the government policy has been enabled. Land is cheaper, faster to get. Government has created avenues for you to do actually government land allocation, which is absolutely phenomenal support which government has been extending. I think this is everything which makes Rajasthan a #1 state in my opinion. And look at the gathering here, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You guys have come. I think the stalls speak for themselves. So yeah, that's it. This particular RIPS strategy, Rajasthan has been the forerunner. Other states have definitely copied. But government incentives are definitely better as compared to other states in Rajasthan.
Great. Energy. See, what we have learned here so far, the mega scale solar plant, and there have been learning experiences all around. How we replicate those lessons, and also there are failures at times, and how to understand the mitigation aspects, and so not to repeat the mistakes done earlier. I invite Veerpal Yadavji to share your views on lessons which we can deploy and when we go on the journey of hybrid solar and wind together at the utility scale in Rajasthan.
Yeah, thanks Mr. Vinay. So myself Veerpal Yadav, I am Director CEO Sunkind Energy Group, and we are one of fastest emerging EPC entity and backward manufacturing integration with the module mounting structure capabilities, more than 30,000 metric ton annually, and now we are coming up with 1.5 gigawatt module with the TOPCon technology in Rajasthan only. So Rajasthan is very close to us. We are working for the EPC project, as well as our manufacturing facilities are built in Jaipur itself. So just taking the question forward, what all the learnings we can just take the replica for the upcoming infrastructure developments in terms of the larger or the ultra megawatt solar parks. So Padla is one of the largest solar park developed by state, and one aspect to take forward is getting the project phase-wise implementation, getting the smaller capacity to quick implementation, and getting all the infrastructure in terms of the network, in terms of all the availability of the land and other resources to get the plant up and operational within the due timelines. And the obvious thing is that yes, where the scale comes, certain conflict also comes. In the last discussion, we understood that the larger conflicts reported in Rajasthan. But this is not the point, but how quick or that the closure or the response is matters. So Rajasthan is aggressively working on all the conflicts reported and getting the things concluded in favor of the project implementation. Apart from that, my take is that yes, we have now the technology, we can leverage the technology where we can map the lands with minimum kind of social impacts, like we faced in past the GIB mapping. So biodiversity mapping can be one of the area years before the execution finally started. So those things we can take forward, and every project is a learning is a constant, it's a continuous process. So we can take those things forward. Apart from that, the policy and the maybe response from the respective stakeholder, from the government body or maybe any third party body involved is very much required. So the machinery of the state and center work together and get the project implemented in the faster way. That can be an area where that the state can maybe work to get the smoother execution or implementation of the projects.
Yeah, so there have been media reports in recent past, like there are at the local level, community level resistance and concerns, and as you said, when we go for a scale, of course, one need to be very accommodative to the concerns of the local community, and how you make them part of the process, and also make them benefited out of the process. That's very important for the sustainability and especially for scaling purposes. So, any commentary on that? You want to share your experiences?
See, when we talk about the mass deployment, or maybe if we just work out a similar kind of ultra megawatt scale project like Badla. So Badla is all about, if I'm right, it is 14,000 acres area. So 14,000 acres area means we have to displace certain localities, we have to displace certain maybe the forestry part or any other environmental infrastructure existing there. So the planning and the coordination in between both of the things is very much required. So my personal view, rather getting the individual developer to get the land hold or possessions, so maybe any single window solution system or maybe any designated agency can get the aggregation part and getting the things developed with the long-term mapping of all the impacted localites or any maybe creature, anything we can plan in a better way.
Yeah, so that's what RSDCL and RNCL has been doing, and we have been assisting them in NOC and Surasar and many others. PD Core has been assisting, so well taken. See, when we talk about the scaling and integration, hybrid model and all that, it's easier said than done, and there are hiccups, there are issues in particular quality aspects. It requires tremendous effort to maintain that quality. If you look at the quality concerns, when we integrate solar with wind, and there are storage solutions as well. So what kind of preparedness is required? Whether our industry has reached that stage that are matured enough to handle those issues, the solutions are emerging for mitigation. For instance, grid integration and stability issues, intermittency and power quality, component reliability aspects, AC or DC coupled system, the choices to be made, inverter converter quality issues, and so many other issues related to quality aspects. I invite Sri Akshay Bhattji, quality head, spreading quality supply and field, Blue Pine Energy Private Limited, to express his views on this.
Quality of solar, wind, hybrid, gas, an aspect, and some part of the R&D. So, before starting, I would just like to recall that annual solar installation capacity as on date, I know everybody might be aware, it is approaching near about 602 gigawatt. Out of that, India is having a 32 gigawatt of solar especially. And if I talk about the composite capacity, which is around 133 gigawatt. So we all are having a rapid acceleration towards the target achievement of the capacity, which is tetrawatt per year if we see the statistics. But mostly now this is the time where a country or agencies or a lot of developers should seek for the adoption or shaping the new normal as in quality, which is nobody is concerned. But my suggestion is while going for the commercial aspect, before going that we should think for the sustainable quality product as well as project execution, where a lot of concerned agencies and committees can upfrontly include manufacturing quality plans in their RFS, field quality plan. And if I'm talking about the manufacturing quality plan or field quality plan, so in that the details of the testing of the particular product should be included. If I talk about the module, then HV curve, hypod, the here cracks. If I talk about the transformer, it's supposed to be included, short circuit testing, IP curve testing, a lot of things. If I talk about the inverter, then MPP testing, quality power testing, those are major testing which is supposed to be included and should be adhered with that supplier. So if we are giving that hatch to the upfrontly in the RFS, I think we can probably mitigate at some stage of the those hiccups which we are facing currently.
Then connecting to a grid. And there are additional challenges, vis-a-vis if you go at standalone solar. So any particular concern in that context, and how, and you suggest how as industry what kind of precautions and cautious approach one should be having?
Yes. There are a lot of losses. SCADA. So every individual plant has its own SCADA. So there should be a unified SCADA. And other thing is, while we are considering the cable link and the transmission ISTS charges and all, so there also it can be manageable and we can avoid such issues in future as well.
Private operators going out themselves, acquiring or buying, purchasing land. There is a decision to be made to go for a lease or to purchase. Then there are government facilitations like RRECL, RSDCL have been doing to facilitate the taking care of all initial hiccups and pains and developing ready to move kind of infrastructure. One can go for plug and play. So there are different models, and all of them have worked fairly well, but there are learnings when we go for each kind of solutions. So I invite Sri Chandrasekhar Lakshminarayan ji, General Manager Strategy and Business Development, to share his views and experience and on those the learning so far and how we can actually apply those learning when we move forward for this leapfrogging in terms of capacity, in terms of hybrid solution, and of course working with the communities for the longer term social acceptance and all that. Over to you.
Hi, until completion. So in any project, what we have seen is that while the project, in terms of project cost, it may be a really low value, but a good land acquisition done in a timely manner can make or break the IRR. It can even lead to project not being commissioned if not done well. And land acquisition is different in different, the way it's done in each state is very different. So we're doing 2 projects in Maharashtra where we're doing land acquisition, we're doing 1 in Gujarat. Rajasthan, like Sir said, RIPS policy is very good, and that's something which we're looking at to expand beyond these 2 states. Where we have seen in terms of the models, we have also explored models where agencies like RRECL completely does all the land and hands over and all that. That's the best way to go in terms of, from a developer point of view. I don't have the hassle of land acquisition, getting into the ground and all that. So in terms of any bidding where the land and the connectivity is available to us, that's something which is the best way forward. As from a developer point of view, I think it's more work on the agency. But yes, secondly, for the CNI work, CNI PPAs or for the government PPAs, we are acquiring private lands. In terms of the methodology, like Sir said, there are two ways you can do it. One, you can acquire upfront entirely, or do a lease for say 28 years or 29 years. So each has its pros and cons. Obviously, if you purchase the land, then you have an asset value in place and you will have a larger control of the land, and then there's something at the end of the tenure to have. But over a period of time, the land, we've seen the cost of land has increased and it has slowly become really unviable to sort of procure the land. So in most cases, lease is the most preferred option. In terms of legal point of view, it's easier to get through. So if you see most of the land acquisition, say in states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, even Karnataka, now previously Karnataka and Tamil Nadu were also procurement, we used to buy outright, but now they're also moving towards a lease model. Rajasthan is something where, depending on the location, it's a call which probably needs to be taken, whether it's lease or you want to purchase outright. And one of the things which I've realized is the data available for facilitating the land acquisition is different in different states in terms of the ease of data. So typically when you need 30 years to 45 years data. There are some states where they are easily available and then the things move faster, the legal due diligences move faster. But then there are some states where the data is not really kept well. So there we'll have to spend more time and effort and all that. So one of the areas, I think Rajasthan is very good in that manner, but one of the areas I see as an improvement area is where the data can be managed really well so that it speeds up the acquisition process. Of course, the site, the people there are also important, so we generally ensure that the compensations paid out are fair, and during the course of the project we ensure that there is a sort of employment generation which happens at the location as well, so that the people are taken care of, and by default we try as much as possible, we try to ensure that the land which we generally block out for solar, so these lands are generally will be blocked out for say 28 years, 2 years construction, 25 years life of the project, and then 2 years to again dismantle. So we typically prefer arid lands, which is where Rajasthan comes in the front, because you don't you waste good cultivable land for solar. That's one of the key advantages which Rajasthan as a state has, that most of the land is usable and the environmental effects are a little less as compared to say you would do say a project in say Tamil Nadu or even central India where land is highly cultivable. But that being said, that's about it. Like, that's how we sort of see land acquisition as a strategy, that it has to be sustainable, and we ensure that this is done right and proper so that the effective IRR of the project or even the project commissioning is not delayed.
Great. Solar parks, and there have been private operators who have developed parks. Each one could offer their respective advantages. For instance, in private sector of developed parks, you might have some kind of relatively faster decision making, and you can put things. While on the other side, government has its own advantage, obviously, we all know. In particular, the transmission, the evacuation infrastructure is one of those bottlenecks. Government probably better placed to deal with all that. So in that, what have been your experience, generally in your view, the trend, emerging trend, vis-a-vis what is the trend, mega trend in this context?
So sort of acquire the land. Like I said, the government land, if the government is able to secure the land and give us, it's always better. If we are also doing some project, we explore government land, because then the ownership, like one of the key problems with acquiring private land is the land area per person is very low. So if you say go to Maharashtra, you will see people owning half acre, 1 acre and all that. So the process becomes much harder to do. There are more people to deal with. The government, if available, is the easiest option because you will get a single parcel of land which is much larger. So the preference, if available, will always be the government land, and then private land is moved when there's no other option left, or if you're probably doing CNI. In CNI cases, you will have to look at private land.
I think we have times, organizers, we have some time. Do we have time for some questions or we close it up? Okay, we just, okay, fine. So okay, wrap it up with just quickly one pointer. See, the single specific change, all of you think will help Rajasthan to upscale this, say, Badala experience or going to the scale and hybrid solution scale and maintain their leadership position further. Quickly, if you can just spell out what single suggestion, recommendation, please. You can start from the Chandrasekhar.
So, potential for STU connected projects, as well as I think the CNI market is something which is sort of coming up here now over the past 1-2 years, and that is where I see a potential to scale for Rajasthan beyond your normal bidding or beyond a lot of ISTS capacity which is getting setting up via SECI bids and all those other extra bids.
Yes, of course, there are a lot of chance or scope to develop other mega parks, but specifically work on the policy changes and somewhat of ISCS mega structure development. Those are the major concerns actually.
I think Rajasthan's focus is not just on adding the capacity, but on creating a scalable and resilient renewable energy ecosystem. Thus, the state is committed to enable the developers for ready infrastructure, because in our park we are providing just plug and play type model and policy certainty and long-term vision. So I'm sure that Rajasthan would continue to lead in the RE sector with the joint efforts of all stakeholders, developers and investors.
I think one thing that definitely can be worked upon is managing the ESG, environment, social and governance compliances. I think government should be more proactive in handling certain specific sensitive issues around tackling the specifically the sacred tree issue, or places where there is habitat dwellings getting affected. I think those areas government can be more proactive and provide more support to the developers so that those issues can be resolved really quickly and we can move forward with the development. The other small aspect is that I think time-bound movement of various approvals, because we are also developing a lot of solar parks, private solar parks here, but that's for our own consumption. But sometimes the process itself takes some time, so I think it will be good if time-bound file approval mechanism can be. I think REC is moving towards digitization. I think that is a great step. We look forward to having that implemented in a time-bound fashion.
Praise how the Rajasthan is moving. So first thing, the state who published all the connectivities available at the STU is the one good part. So earlier we were just behind the government bodies to get the connectivity and availability, and now it is public domain. So that is the good part. Apart from that, how quickly the management or maybe the state heads take a call just to figure out what is the need of the time. So now hybrid system is more feasible in terms of the commercially as well as the technical viability, considering all the evacuation system. So quickly going ahead and taking a decision to bank on the best system. So yes, the wind is a limited area in the Rajasthan. To just balance out with the solar with the best is the good aspect. And we appreciate what the state has taken the initiative. And apart from that, one thing can be worked out. I am sure that RREC is working to have a single window solution where all the connectivity and the proactive conflict resolution system can help the developers to get the things concluded in the time-bound manner. Thank you.
So belonging to Rajasthan only, so my wish is, and now I think time has arrived for Rajasthan to now do a lot of backward integration. So the scale of the industry, the mega scale now we have reached, and we intend to go further. It's high time we should do some, the mega scale manufacturing base should be set up here. Whatever we import from China or from wherever nowadays, the core product, the panel and so many other things, even inverters, it is high time for us to develop as our niche, our core area, Rajasthan, which should actually power further the entire country's transformation into REs. With this, I thank you all for your valuable time. I think we had great discussion, insights given by you are really appreciable. Thank you so much. Over to the organizers.
To kindly felicitate all of our esteemed panelists. Can we have a huge round of applause for all these great people on the stage? Come on, everybody. And now I request all our panelists to kindly felicitate our moderator for the session, Mr. Vinayak Pandey.
City Live, a platform to sharing your thoughts.